Chicago, everybody, as the Blackhawks here at home try and get out of a tremendous rut that they are in. They haven't won a game here at home in 10 with 9 losses and a tie, while the Bruins, who have won 3 in a row, try and continue it. Jocelyn Thibault has been part of that. 0 for 10 for him in net for the Blackhawks.
His numbers, as you can imagine, parallel the Blackhawks' overall numbers. His goals against average in the last 10 games, 3.21. Save percentage, a very low 8.87. At the other end for the Boston Bruins, Steve Shields played very well on Thursday night in a victory that the Bruins picked up. Hackett played yesterday in the win against Washington. And Steve Shields is being rewarded because he put in a great effort on Thursday night.
He is 4-5-1 lifetime against Chicago. Joe Thornton on the first line for Boston will be out there. Knuble and Murray with him. Brian Berard will be on defense. Sean O'Donnell. Face-off won by the Bruins as the Chicago Blackhawks come with Steve Pops, Nathan Dempsey on defense. They've got Zay Nicolisian and Steve Sullivan on the first line. Puck goes up into the bench, and there it will be whistled. And we thank the captain of the Boston Bruins, Joe Thornton, for joining us bench side before our broadcast today.
And you know what? Even during the Bruins skid, remember, they've won 3 games consecutively now. Before that, they had gone 9 without a victory. Always accommodating. Joe Thornton, Glenn Murray, any of the Bruins. I tell you what, they didn't change as people just because they weren't winning.
And not as players either. As he said, they kept it together, the confidence back for them, and all of a sudden they are very much in the playoff hunt. Brought back up near side, look into the middle. Sullivan left it, passed back to Pops. Steve Pops, the defenseman, dumped in behind the net to Daze. Tried to center it, came into the middle where it bounced. Thornton got a stick on it, couldn't control it. Nicolisian had it knocked away by Murray. Comes back to the far side, chased down by Berard. Brian Berard cleared it out to center. There it'll be played by Steve Sullivan. And into the zone offside, the Chicago Blackhawks. It's a really tough weekend for Theo Fleury. You cannot but feel some sadness for what has happened to him here again this season. Not that he's not responsible for his own life.
You know what? If you look at the situation objectively, part of you says that Theo Fleury is a terrific guy and an easy guy to like with personal problems. And I think everybody agrees with that. The other part of it says, why would the Chicago Blackhawks have done something that looked like it didn't have a chance to succeed from the beginning? And that's a head-scratcher.
They believed it did. Do we see it happen over and over in sports where general managers will take reclamation projects under advisement and give it a whirl? And that's what the Chicago Blackhawks did, and it has not worked for them. As one official said to me this morning, with Chicago, we spent as much time worrying about what was going on off the ice this year as we did with what was going on.
You can say what you want about it not affecting a team. That is baloney.
Yep, that is baloney. That one got kicked ahead. Joseph Stumble of Boston cleared back into the zone. Zamaner trying to go to the corner with it. Gets held up, and I mean held up, and then dumped. Zamaner got leveled. John Clem came over and took him down. Back through center, Blackhawks. Derrick Henry, the rookie, dumps it in. They wanted to change it up. Chicago's got to find a way to dig down. They're coming off a 2-0 loss to Calgary on Friday. They have not played well. They are a team where they know a lot of the players are not going to be here after Tuesday, and certainly not next year. That trading deadline is one of those where there may be a number of these Blackhawks ending up somewhere else.
Without question, the Blackhawks are sellers. I mean, they still, as Steve Sullivan said before the game, we're not going to give up hope until we're mathematically eliminated. From a management standpoint, at least GM Mike Smith is a seller.
3-on-2, down low, puck deflected. Steve Thomas. Thomas had an opportunity, but he gets squeezed off the puck. Thomas is out there with Simon and Fleury, with Theo going to the center position on this line. Theo Fleury's shot got blocked into the corner, chased down there by Sweeney, and Sweeney, the veteran, will clear that one out. Blackhawks will get it back. The Boston Bruins do not want to wake the Blackhawks. They want to get a goal or two early and keep them sound asleep and just come away with a victory in this game.
You bet. I mean, obviously, the persistence level of the Blackhawks, their ability to stick to it is fragile right now. Their confidence is fragile, and if the Bruins can go up early, they'll just maybe drive a nail into their coffin early.
Mike Eastwood tried to feed that in, knocked away by John Clem. Clem, a couple of cups playing in Colorado. That one cleared around the near side. Barrison stepping up. Never got back to him along the wall, though. Bruins able to hold it in offensively. Taken by Eastwood in behind the net. He tried to clear it around. Poke checked away by Grosek. Michael Grosek moved up to get it. Again, cleared out. Henry took the hit. Barrison had it poke checked away. Ended up being a perfect pass to Eastwood, and that's going to be whistled on the offside. Closing in on 15 games more or less remaining to go for the clubs around the National Hockey League trying to make the playoffs. You got to be in the top 8. This is the West.
And this is how tough the situation is. I mean, the Chicago Blackhawks are in a huge jam because they've got 11 points to make up. They've got 4 teams that they've got to catch and pass. And you can say what you want about it mathematically being possible. And as a player, you have to. You can't give up. One of the great things about pro hockey players is they don't give up until they're mathematically eliminated. Will the Chicago Blackhawks make the playoffs? No.
They're back up onto the point. Shields made one save. That one never got through off the Boston stick to the near side wall and cleared back. Murray back out there up on the forecheck, checking Nicolishin. 5 goals on the season for Andre Nicolishin. He moved it off the near side to Steve Pops, the defenseman, who's had a solid year. Murray got it back, tried to drop it in. Pops got a stick on it, couldn't control it. Pass back to Murray's taken away. And the Blackhawks were able to move it out with Steve Sullivan charging. Daze on the far side. Eric Daze centering pass. That one poke checked away. Daze, who's had a foot injury problem, back in, empty net. Score! The Blackhawks, Steve Sullivan.
Exactly what Chicago needed here. This is the matchup they wanted too. Daze, Nicolishin, and little Steve Sullivan against the big Clydesdales of the Bruins up front. Quickness sometimes can overcome size. And with Steve Shields down, his own guy banged into him, and it looked like, watch this. He went down, then he ended up diving. Now Steve Shields ended up just losing sight, I think, of where Steve Sullivan was and couldn't move to be in front of him.
Nice little hesitation move by Sullivan as he looked as though he might risk one, and you saw the goaltender Shields drop to his knees, and then Sullivan kept circling and had Shields off balance. Sent into the corner by John Clem. 1-0 Chicago on top. Boston Bruins in the last 4 games had scored the first goal in each of those 4, something they've not done much this year. They do not continue that streak here today.
There's a big connection there too. They won 3 of those 4 games. In the 14 games prior to the last 4, they only scored first once, and they went 9 games in a row without a win. So first goal is big for the Bruins.
Shields had to make the save on the shot by Mark Bell. Sullivan gets his first goal in 9 games at 4:07. His 17th of the year, and it's an unassisted goal.
A great heads-up play by Steve Sullivan. He really is a talented, creative offensive player. From our Southwest Airlines goal cam, once Steve Shields went down and bit on the first fake, with big Hal Gill out in front of him. Sullivan just kept skating to open twine.
Boston Bruins today, they're scratched Sean Brown health-wise. Ralston, who missed a game, back in. That one almost got through. Thomas the rebound, banged it off the side of the net. Thomas gets it back. This is where the Bruins continue to worry. Fleury scores! Theo Fleury! The Boston coverage down low continues to be a problem.
Second time now Steve Shields has gone to his knees before the shot has been launched. This one got him up high. The Bruins looked like they might have had a chance to clear, but 3 of them overskated. Steve Thomas waited. You're right, Gary, the coverage. Brian Ralston moved to his guy late. PJ Axelson came down low, but it was too late. And by the time Steve Shields was able to pick up this puck visually, Theo Fleury had it over his shoulder and in the net.
And now we're going to get a fight at center ice just to liven things up a little bit. For the Boston Bruins, it's Oliva, who is their leading penalty minute man and leading fight man in that regard. Christoph Oliva.
And it's Jason Strudwick, I think, for the Blackhawks.
It is.
Ryan Vandenbush, the toughest of the Blackhawks. Look at this. Strudwick now got the helmet off and going to it on Christoph Oliva.
Oliva's got 130 minutes in penalties, second only to P.J. Stock on the Bruins. Pretty good effort. Oliva sent out there just to try and wake the Bruins up and get it going.
Well, I got to tell you, after the Bruins for 3 games looking like a brand new team, so far in this first period, they have looked like the old team. The team that went 9 without a win. Jason Strudwick didn't think twice about answering the call there when Oliva said, let's go.
Bobby Fatorik and Brian Sutter, the 2 coaches, behind their respective benches for this one. And let's see if that fires up one or both of these teams. That'll be be dumped into the zone. 5-minute majors for fighting on each. Nobody gets a power play out of this. Just the two majors, and that'll end up on the Chicago bench on the attempted clear, with the face-off staying to the right of Thibault in the Chicago end.
Well, if there's any question about the Blackhawks' at least desire to compete, you can forget about it. They have come out here in the first 5 minutes of a first period when almost all hope is lost, and they have played like champs. I'll tell you, they've gone right at the Bruins, not laying back at all.
Alexei Shamnov has a hand injury. He is a scratch. Van de Busch is out of there. A healthy scratch for the Blackhawks. Still 5-on-5. Remember, Gil Chance save made. Jocelyn Thibault down for that one. The goal at 5:10 by Fleury is his 10th of the year. Thomas and Simon pick up the assists. It's the first goal for Theo in 15 games. Yikes. For Simon, he gets a couple of goals against Boston before, and picks one up here in the second goal by the Chicago Blackhawks. These teams have played just once before on the season. Blackhawks won it 3-1 January 30. Good rush around the net. Thibault able to knock it away. Barrison picks it up. Barrison, their leading shot man, cleared that one across ice. It'll be sent in by Simon. Middle of a line change. Berard banked it off the boards where Stumple was at. Stumple skated on by it. Stumple back at center will pick that one up. Murray along the near side. And the Bruins, Glenn Murray, trying to send it in. Chicago back. And you can just see the lift in the game. That first goal, and then the second one is given the Blackhawks.
And Gary, I talked about the big size of the Bruins line that's out there now. Murray and Joe Thornton and Mike Knuble. But the size isn't any good to them unless they get the puck down low in the offensive zone.
So they'll have Chicago defensemen and forwards right in their jerseys to try and prevent that from happening.
And Steve Sullivan just out-quicked them on his goal.
Berard's going to give it chase into the corner and gets there in time. The Blackhawks opening up early, a 2-0 lead over the Bruins. Fleury's got one of them. Gotta believe. NHL Gamecast, live scoring, shot charts, game stats. It's the best way to follow every NHL game. That's NHL Gamecast. Log on ESPN.com or NHL.com.
Some loyal Theo Fleury fans here in Chicago. Don't blame Theo. And I'll tell you what, you can't pin it all on Theo.
Absolutely not. And you don't think that goal was sweet by Theo that he scored here in this first period after being put on waivers yesterday? Look, that opens a couple of eyes, or most teams are saying, look, he's not worth the problems. He scores a couple of goals in a game, and suddenly guys, you know, maybe.
I'll tell you what else, too. He's playing at center today.
Yeah.
It's hard. I can't remember the last time he played at center, and I'm not sure Theo could. It's going to be a test of his stamina. It's going to be a test of his defensive ability back down low. You know, he's going to have to show the world that he's in great shape and that he's strong for a little guy, because you got to come back down as a center and cover back down low in your end.
He will. Shot by Murray. Jocelyn Thibault kicked that one away to Sullivan. Sullivan dropped it off to Nicolisian. Nicolisian cleared it ahead, couldn't connect. And the Bruins look up ice. Sean O'Donnell trying to feed it up there into the middle. It tipped off Nicolisian's stick. Henry drops it off. Eric Henry playing in his 9th game, number 44, looking for his first point. He is a defenseman out there. He'll get some ice time in the game down on the ice point. They took a stick to the face. Penalty coming up. Boynton caught a stick, I think.
Ooh, did he ever?
Right in the eye.
Chris Simon wants to make sure he's all right. You've got to know that in Chicago's predicament, they don't do anything that's intentional. They could back themselves into a corner.
Chicago penalty, 4 minutes, high sticking.
Yikes. Looked like Chris Simon was just trying to get his stick over his head. But you know what, I got to tell you, that's not that hard to miss.
Put that visor on. A lot of guys hate playing with it. That's one of those where maybe. Chris Simon, high sticking, 11:44. That'll be our third penalty of the game. The other two, the fighting majors. Oliva picked it up, and this is going to be the first power play. And Strudwick had the fight earlier. So power play opportunity for the Boston Bruins, who are trailing in this game by a score of 2-0. That's going to be whistled on the offside. We'll check in again with John.
Thanks, Gary. Jim Dow made it 1-0 Minnesota. Back come the Thrashers. Watch Mark Hardigan played his college hockey at St. Cloud State in Minnesota. That's a gift goal, 1-1. Then the All-Star Game MVP. He's Danny Heatley. That's a twisted wrister. 2-1 Thrashers.
That's his 6,000th goal of the season.
What a player.
Short-handed chance knocked down by Shields.
Hey, this is kind of interesting here now with the Bruins on the power play. And Chicago's got to hang tough here because the Bruins power play is officially hot. They got 2 yesterday, 6 for their last 16 over the last 4 games. I mean, they've been putting pucks behind goalies on their power play.
They've moved up to 6th best in the league now on the power play for Boston. They are led by Thornton and Murray, who both have 11 power play goals each. Chicago's penalty kill tied for 7th. That is one of the areas where Chicago's dramatically improved from last year. 26th last season, the 7th this year in the penalty kill. And that's what they're doing right here. Cleared out of the zone. And Chicago will change up in the penalty killing unit. Marty McGinnis dumped that one into the zone offside. Lyle Odeline tipped it away in any event. Saw McGinnis against the Islanders the other night, a game we broadcast on ESPN, and he came away with a couple of goals and then added another.
It's great versatility as a player. Robbie Ftorek has so many options with guys like Marty McGinnis and Brian Ralston. Marty McGinnis just finished a shift on the point in the power play. He's also one of the penalty killers for the Bruins. Can play any forward position. Tell you what, there's something to be said for being versatile in the NHL. You can last a long time. And there's always a team looking for somebody like you.
Ralston moves it in on the power play for Boston. Shot wide. Thornton's on the near side half boards. Thornton will dump it back. Only one back along the blue line as the Boston Bruins pull that offside defenseman in, but can't get to it. That'll be cleared out of the zone. Shields thinking about going after it with Sullivan moving in. And cleared it around to Brian Berard. Berard working one of the points. Only one defenseman out there for Boston, and that's Berard. Murray, Ralston, Murray the puck. Murray dropped it. Ralston near side, lines it up, shot it wide. He ripped it, but he did not get it on net. Murray holds it in on the far side. Leaves it for Thornton. Thornton looking to the point. Ralston just got to it. And you'll see Chicago coming out here in a 1-2-1, the way they've set that box up. Thornton right through it on a chance. Jocelyn Thibault made a save. Rebound went to the corner. Mike Knuble was chasing it down. Thornton again. Thornton looking to the top. No alleyway to go. Power play down. Winds up. That one through a screen. Jocelyn Thibault never saw it. Ended up going up and over. Simon with that high sticking call. The double minor. First part of it almost over. Berard clears that one wide. Now the first 2 minutes of the power play have ended. Thornton takes it. Saved by Thibault. And that will draw the whistle. Sullivan flurry of the goals for Chicago.
John Clem having a conversation with Jocelyn Thibault. John Clem had a couple of really well-timed pushes in front to get people out of the way. This shot may have clinked up. Yeah, nicked the post. Look at Thibault. He's still looking out at the point.
Where is it? Ralston a chance. Came right back to it. Ralston gets it from Zauner near side. Trying to go into the middle of the float. Shot got blocked. There was a little room, but not for long for Joseph Stumple, and it's cleared. 4-minute power play. Berard back to get it, down to 1:36 on it. Comes around the near side. Zauner. Stumple's on the right. Stumple moves it in, had a step on the D. You see Chicago, they're right on the puck.
They are, especially because this is Boston's second unit. There's a big drop-off between the Thornton line and the Stumple line. I mean, Thornton's number 4 in the NHL in scoring, and Glenn Murray is number 8 in overall points. Take them off the ice, you're going to attack.
Zauner dropped that back almost to his own netminder. Stumple cleared it into the zone. Zauner clears it around the boards. Bruins, Martin LaPointe out on the power play unit here with a minute left to go on it. Point left it behind the net. Stumple. Joseph Stumple tied up. Can't do anything with it. Good defensive work by John Clem, who wouldn't let him up. Clem, number 42, looking for that loose puck. Poke checked away from him. Bruins, though, just unable to get a good handle to get it set up. It goes by Girard and out of the zone. Great work by Chicago.
Might have almost been better for Chicago, as long as they don't get scored on, to stay in their own end, because then the Thornton line can't get back out from Boston. Now that the puck has been cleared, Thornton's going to be back.
Girard able to move that one in, but it's taken away. Mike Eastwood cleared it right back, length of the ice. 24 left on the power play, 4:40 left to go here in the period. Steve Shields cleared that one around. Knuble drops it in the middle. Last rush on this power play for Boston. Sent in behind the net, no way to play it. Dempsey was there. Dempsey did not clear. Centered. Knuble score! The clear that didn't happen. It's a power play goal, and it's 2-1.
Boy, what a great reaction by Mike Knuble, and I'm not even sure this pass was intended for him. It might have been intended for Joe Thornton, who was all the way across the ice. See Joe Thornton, number 19? Watch this. Here comes the pass. Boom! Coming across to Joe Thornton. Now it got intercepted by Mike Knuble. Surprised everybody. I think number 43 for Chicago, Nathan Dempsey, was moving over for Thornton as well.
Well, they're on the board. They get the power play, a 4-minute power play. They got it during the second half of it, and it makes it 2-1. That is their 53rd power play goal of the year for the Boston Bruins. And Mike Knuble gets his 20th goal of the season off the power play. Chicago still with the lead. McCarthy at center. They'll drop it back deeper into their own end. Off the near side for Simon. Simon able to move it around and clear it out of the zone. Thomas looking into the middle. Nowhere to go with it, so Thomas backed it, trying to go to the point. Simon will come in and pick it up. Theo Fleury battling in front of the net. Backhander right underneath Fleury. Theo Fleury and Girard were going at it strong, and both teams want a line change. 15:37, Knuble, 20th of the year power play. Girard will pick up the only assists on it for Knuble, the first 20-goal season that he has ever had. And the battle goes on. There have been a few of them in this game. Shot, Sweeney, save made, Jocelyn Thibault.
Congratulations to Mike Knuble. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Don Sweeney came off the bench and nobody picked him up. He came into the zone and had a wide open shot. Sweeney leads it back. That shot off the blocker and cleared to the corner. As the Bruins begin to put some pressure on here, keeping it in the zone, Michael Grosek with the last chance. Back into the middle, Axelson kicked that off the far side. Boston a little get-go after scoring that first goal. Henry popped that one up, got poke checked away though. McGinnis was cutting, shot, score! Axelson ties it! Another turnover by the Blackhawks.
Well, defense is supposed to be the Blackhawks' strength. I mean, they're ranked in the top third in the league defensively. They're not showing it right now, and you know the Bruins are just going to keep coming shooting. They've already got 14 shots now on goal. This was just drifted to the front with everybody allowing P.J. Axelson to get in behind them. Kyle Calder just let up. Number 19 for Chicago, instead of putting his head down and sprinting to Axelson, decided to gamble that the play wouldn't be made to him. He lost the bet.
It is a 2-2 game, and Chicago's 2-0 lead has disappeared here with 2:40 left to go in this first period. Swept around by O'Donnell of the Bruins, and it rolls out to center. Chicago, Nick will chase this one down as Henry came back to get it. So the Boston Bruins respond. Now, did the Christoph Oliva fight coming out, trying to open things up a little bit, wake up the Bruins matter? No way you can answer that for sure, but after it happened, the Bruins suddenly found the back of the net. Axelson gets his 14th. Ralston gets the assist. 17:05, 5-on-5 goal. Bruins, some room on the other side. McCarthy had to drop back, reaching out. Couldn't get it. Murray a little too far ahead. Sends it back in behind the net. Knuble stick up as he does battle with Nicolishin. Nicolishin, good job in the corner to clear it out. Bruins have to clear the zone. Intercepted again. Pops has it, leaves it. Up for Daze, too far ahead.
I guess we shouldn't be surprised at the Bruins' ability to come back. They did it yesterday.
Daze, and another turnover down low. Shields, and it's tipped away to the side. Sullivan has got a goal. Almost had the break in. Again down the middle. Backhander. What a goal! Second chance, Sullivan. 3-2 Hawks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a shootout. Steve Sullivan. When I asked him before the game, where is the offense gone? And he said, we don't know. It was on his stick the whole time. Steve Shields again down on his knees. He bit on a little fake from Steve Sullivan right there. And as soon as he bit, Sullivan pulled it to the backhand, and Steve Shields was on his right knee. Couldn't do anything about it.
We have seen some amazing goals here, shooters' goals. The one by Axelson, even though he was wide open, tipped off the post. That one tipped off the post after two great moves by Sullivan, who's got Shields talking to himself right now. Held in, Strudwick on the far side, came over to get it. Strudwick, good play defensively to hold it in. Strudwick back in behind the net. O'Donnell trying to knock it away. Strudwick able to control. Barrison sets up in front. Shot save made on Mike Eastwood's turnaround chance. So the Hawks had a 2-0 lead. Bruins tied it. Hawks back on top. Sullivan the goal. 3-2.
Or at least attempting to. You know that he's churning like crazy inside. He's facing rejection. The Blackhawks have said, we don't want you anymore. Said, look, They took a chance on me, and I respect them for that. Tried to give them everything that I could. I've run into a couple of difficulties, and now our relationship is going to end. But I mean, he's pretty philosophical about it.
And he'll keep playing. He's not claimed on waivers. I mean, he just remains a Chicago Blackhawk for the remainder of the season. That one, Jocelyn Thibault watches go by behind the net, touched up by Lyle Odeline for the icing call. We're underway in the second period.
And Theo Fleury playing center for the Blackhawks in this game. Alexei Zhamnov is still out with his injury. Scored in the first on a nice feed from Steve Thomas with big Chris Simon screening in front.
Daze has gotten an assist on the goal by Sullivan. Fleury's goal, Thomas and Simon. Knuble from Berard, Axelson from Ralston, and then Sullivan, the collision, and Daze on the go-ahead goal for the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago Blackhawks facing a streak here at home. They have not won a home game in their last 8. That one knocked away to the corner. It is the second longest home losing streak in their franchise history. You've got to go back to 1928 to find a Chicago streak longer than the current 8-game losing streak at home. Just as soon not go back that far by putting a W up here today. And a little takedown on the entrance into the zone. Henry was there to knock him away. Played by Clem. Clem had the most ice time at 8:30 of any Chicago Blackhawk in that first period. Clem had it knocked away. Bruins were changing up. Results in an opportunity. And a penalty coming up. Penalty shot. A penalty shot. Henry is charged with a takedown on the clear breakaway. And the Boston Bruins will get a penalty shot. Mike Knuble getting up and out of the net.
Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Most exciting play in all of sports, and we're about to see it. This is a great call, too.
Penalty shot for the Warriors to Boston for being fouled from behind on a breakaway.
And took any chance of a reasonable scoring opportunity away from him. Mike Knuble will now face Jocelyn Thibault and can tie the game in the process.
Thibault has faced 6 regular season penalty shots, has made 4 saves out of the 6. Only 6 of 27 penalty shots have been successful this year. Mike Knuble's first penalty shot ever. He's in, and he scores! Knuble penalty shot success, and the game is tied at 3.
And boy, Mike Knuble just keeps on building. Remember, he scored earlier in the game. First time he's hit the 20-goal plateau in his career. He makes it 21 goals, his second of the game, and he makes this look easy. Watch what he does here. When he pulled it to his backhand, he pulled it way far to the backhand, but he had a little flinch there first. Jocelyn Thibault, by the time he came over, couldn't get there far enough. Mike Knuble's reach and his stick length really helped him here. And he did what you've got to do when you go to the backhand. If he doesn't get that puck into the air, he gets it eaten up by Thibault. Textbook penalty shot by Mike Knuble with speed, too.
This game tied at 3-1-12 of the second period. Knuble's 21st goal is second of the game. His first penalty shot attempt ever, and Knuble's successful on it. So the Bruins have battled back again. For the second time in this game, have tied it up.
I'm not sure Jocelyn Thibault could have played this any better. At some point, if you execute the way you're supposed to, and you'll see this from our Southwest Airlines goal cam, he took it to the backhand and shot quickly before Thibault's momentum could carry his body over with his blocker and everything. I mean, that was just getting beat.
Sullivan gets it ahead. A break in for Daze. He scores! Eric Daze from Sullivan, and the Hawks lead it 4-3. It's officially a Gunners game.
Well, we weren't busy today anyway. Eric Daze just back into the lineup after missing 5 with a serious ankle problem that had him in the hospital. And it looked like he was going to try to get control of this again, and I think he surprised Steve Shields. He just reached out. Boy, if you think Mike Knuble's reach helped him on his goal, Eric Daze had the puck about 10 feet in front of him, and he chipped it, and I think he surprised Steve Shields with a little chip shot.
And we're only 2 minutes into the period. We got another fight going. This is the second one of the game. Ottawa again came out on the ice, and again was looking for Jason Strudwick, and found him.
And again, ended up in the bottom, Ottawa did.
So we have the complete strategy now in this game for the Boston Bruins. As soon as they fall behind, Ottawa out, finds Strudwick, get in the fight. Boston responds with a goal. Game tied up. Chicago responds, takes the lead. Ottawa out, finds Strudwick, get in the fight.
Well, I know I know you're just trying to be funny, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised to see it again.
That's what's happening.
If the pattern repeats itself on the scoreboard, I agree 100%. That time Oliva went after Strudwick, and it looked like Strudwick was a less willing participant this time than he was the first time. And instead of trying to lock out Oliva and throw punches, Strudwick just went for the takedown.
Here it is. Actual ice from the Boston guard. Oh, let me smell that.
Bruins threatening again. Philip Joseph Stock passed out to Marty McGuinness. That would be PJ Stock, by the way. Bing off the crossbar. Look at Thibault outside of the paint, cutting down the angle. Marty McGuinness might not have had that much to shoot at anyway, but he clanked the iron.
And that hit off Lyle Odeline's stick on the way through. Scoring chances even at 10. Shots in favor of Boston by 1, 17-16, which means most shots have been scoring chances in this game. Off the face-off, it's won back by the Blackhawks as Eastwood won the draw, but can they control it? Eastwood came back to help out. Got poked away by Michael Grosek. The shot, that one deflected off the stick of Jocelyn Thibault by O'Donnell and ends up in the seats. And we'll check in again with John Buccigross. John?
Atlanta 10-8-4 under Bob Hartley, but still the worst team in the league, 30th out of 30. 3-1, they're up, though, on Minnesota with Sergei Zoltak. Makes it 3-2, but Danny Heatley has just scored his second goal of the game, 4-2 Atlanta.
Thrashers piling it on the Wild, who are in pretty good playoff shape. The Wild, that is.
Brian, what you want as a young team is a cornerstone to build around, and the Thrashers have that.
Right shot gets blocked out the center. Chased down, Strudwick. Durant reaches in and poke checks it away. Barrison moves it, looking for Strudwick, cutting, tipped up in the air. Shields reached up with a stick on that one. Held in along the near side. Good shot put on as Mike Eastwood tried to turn that back into the middle. McCarthy, the 9-iron on it, couldn't get it out of there. Down low, Jocelyn Thibault gets run over by Ralston. 3-on-2 the other way. Here comes Barrison. Barrison looking near side Odeline. Odeline, the defenseman. I don't want to shoot. I don't want to shoot. I don't want to shoot. I don't have to. The net just came off the Marsh Banks, and another penalty.
Not sure it's a penalty or if it's just a face-off outside, but I think Steve Shields might be getting a penalty here for intentionally lifting the net off.
And if Odeline had shot, he might have had another penalty shot chance. If Shields gets charged with that.
Boston penalty, 2 minutes, delay a game. Steve Shields.
That's what it is.
Tough period for Steve Shields. Second penalty called on him. First one was for holding Tyler Arneson. Yeah, it was a delayed reaction. Watch the reaction between the time struck. Now is when Steve Shields decided, he said, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Odeline didn't shoot. He's going around. There was just too much lapsed time between Strudwick banging into him.
So he's got 2 penalties, one for holding and one for delay a game for moving the net. And both power plays, the result of Shields' penalty. This one at 9:50. Second power play opportunity. Fleury will take it from behind the net. 4-3. Blackhawks are leading the Bruins. The Bruins have battled back twice to tie it up. 2-2, 3-3. Only to see the Blackhawks turn it the other way. Poke checked away. LaPointe drove it back deeper into the zone. And the Blackhawks will come back to get it. Chicago, Arneson has picked up 6 power play goals. The rookie leads them in that department. Gill cleared it up to the point, but not out. Now they'll look to set it up in front of the net. Near side again. LaPointe had it. Nice little drop pass right there.
Play the way you're facing. It helps.
Gill standing there, just let him have it.
How tough has it been for the Blackhawks to score? On average, it takes them 9 power plays to score 1.
Not good. Thomas clears it around the near side. This is their second power play of this game. A minute left to go on it. Dempsey could not hold that one in, and McCarthy's going to have to chase it down. Blackhawks with a chance to get the 2-goal lead back. They led 2-0 earlier in this game. But that disappeared in a hurry, and then the shootout began. Sullivan, Fleury, the first 2. Knuble, Axelson for Boston tied it. Bruins trying to clear, cannot. Sullivan came back to get a go-ahead, and then Knuble is 21st, and then Daze for Chicago for the 4-3 lead for the Blackhawks. Looking into the middle, Barrison is set up down low. Tyler Arneson along the near side boards the rookie. Arneson, the big spin, great control, dropped it off, one-on-one. Thomas turned, Barrison can't get a stick on it, and Arneson tried to just push it to the net and couldn't get to it. A lot of action down around the blue.
This was just a matter of who was going to get their stick on it first. Steve Thomas tried to step out, knock it home. Berezin had to kick it off his skate, couldn't get his stick on it. And then Arneson had Todd Gill beat him to the punch. And to the puck. Todd Gill with that long reach again. Todd Gill, Hal Gill.
Makes a difference on defense.
Todd Gill is on the brain, though, because he is, in fact, signed with the Blackhawks recently.
Game on the short side. Daze was waiting in front. Puck never got to him. D moved up, came back to Pops. His chance gets blocked. Power play is over. One shot. Score! After the power play ended, Sullivan a hat trick. It's 5-3 Hawks.
And in case you didn't know it, it's St. Patrick's Day here in Chicago. At least that's as good as we can figure it, because the Blackhawks gave out all of the green hats today, and we're not quite sure what the story is.
Well, they're going to get them all back to give out to the next game. They're all on the ice.
Now that's cost-effective marketing. Right here. Cost-effective marketing. Steve Sullivan, after not being able to answer the question before the game, where did the offense go? He said, we don't know, has come up with his third career hat trick and has given the Hawks a 2-goal lead.
And another turnover.
Yeah. Oh, man. That time.
Nick Collision helped create that by getting the stick in, so Boston could not move it out of the zone. And Steve Sullivan, who got the big contract for scoring goals last year, 34 career high, came into the game with 16. He's now got 19. That hat didn't make it.
Yes.
Yes, it did. Goal comes at 11:52 for the moment, unassisted. Hat trick for Sullivan.
Little guy can't reach. His arm isn't developed enough yet for him to even hoist it over the glass.
Besides that, he likes the hat.
Yeah. Dad, I'm not giving mine away.
Mine.
What a day for Steve Sullivan. Shot from Steve Pops was actually blocked, and it looked like, I think that was Brian Berard, who, see, they're looking for the home run play. If it was Brian Berard, and I think it was, he looked to the middle and took his time trying to hit somebody on a long pass up the middle. The guy that went out to try to block the shot from Steve Pops, that's what Brian Berard was looking for.
Yep.
That's why I said the toothpaste is out of the tube, the cows are out of the barn. I mean, the coaches have no control over this game right now.
You watch the reaction of Steve Shields, and it's like, oh, you can see what kind of a day he's having.
But the other Steve Sullivan, is loving it. Some kind of big, just an excellent creative offensive player, little Steve Sullivan. And he has had the room to negotiate in this game. You give a good guy, a guy that's as good offensively with the moves and the speed that Steve Sullivan has. Give him time, give him space, he'll take you down.
So the Chicago Blackhawks ranked 26th in offense, averaging 2.3 goals a game, gotten more than that from Sullivan. They have a 5-3 lead over the Bruins. Shot deflected to the near side. Daze coming back to get it. Daze got it up to the blue line. The collision paid a price, but he got it out of there. Intercepted, shipped back in. Pops is giving chase. Dempsey will come back as defensive partner. Last win they had was against Columbus. They won it by a score of 7-1. They've been in a slump since. Another big offensive day, 5-3.
Don't forget to log on to NHL Gamecast. Live scoring, shot charts, game stats, bags on heads. We've got it all. The best way to follow the action in every NHL game. That's NHL Gamecast. It's available on ESPN.com and NHL.com. Your source for online hockey.
Steve Sullivan with the 3 goals. The Chicago Blackhawks are the only team without a double-digit score at home. Sullivan is taking care of that, as he's got 11 now in home ice. Eric Daze centered, and it kept bouncing to the top of the circle. Bruins able to move it out of there. Down a wide side for Thornton. Thornton shuts it down. Pops tied him up. Played behind the net by Sullivan. The collision off the near side. Daze spreading it out at center. It already moved out. Sullivan did not touch that one up, and it'll be point on the icing call. So Steve Sullivan, just how big a day will he have with a 3? He's already got up there, and 7 minutes to go in the second period.
There you go. He's on pace for 6. We'll see if it happens. It could, the way this game has gone. But we have not heard a peep from Joe Thornton or the leading goal scorer of the Boston Bruins, Glenn Murray. And the Chicago Blackhawks have gotten the matchup that they wanted against the Thornton line every shift. That's Nikolic up front with his line, and Steve Potts back on the blue line with Nathan Dempsey.
Thornton is 4th overall in scoring, 3rd in assists in the league. Glenn Murray out there with 37 goals on the year, 5th in goals and 8th in scoring. 2 of the top 10 in the point department in the NHL. Jocelyn Thibault just feathered that one. Axelson tried to move in, got cut off by the official. Bell clears it wide side for Murphy. Boston Bruins putting some pressure on here. Gerard gets the puck, leaves it for Gill. Gill drops it far side and into the zone. Murphy McCarthy is there to knock it down. Ralston moved up. Ian McGinnis were over there for Boston to try and hold it in. Calder trying to get it out of the zone camp. McCarthy ties his man up. Arneson came over. Ralston puts a little check on him. Axelson dug out the puck. Axelson looking. Gill cutting from the near side defensive point. Now he'll move back. Axelson behind the net. They get set up in front. Axelson trying to find a way to go with it. Brings it to the backhand chance, into the point. Shot. Gill saved by Jocelyn Thibault.
Boy, how nice is it to have your guys in front of you score 5, and that's what Jocelyn Thibault has in this game today. 5-3. The Hawks lead the Bruins. Everybody had collapsed down low to try to make sure Axelson couldn't walk out for a scoring shot, and Axelson knew that somebody up high would be wide open. It was Hal Gill.
19-18 the shots in favor of Boston. Shots remain have been pretty much even throughout. That one deflected in front. Turnaround. Jocelyn Thibault had to knock that one away. Michael Grosek picked up that rebound and just spun it back on net. And now Thomas will try and send it up on another quick out. Can't get it there in time. Joseph Stumple behind the net. Stumple, no goals in 7. 13 total on the year for Stumple of Boston. O'Donnell will work it up for the Bruins. Crisscrossing at center ice. Groshek's on the right. And Stumple had to come back to get it. Cleared it in off the left wing side, where Chicago had it covered, and it's knocked away to center. Burke Henry got back to cover up that winger. Chicago for Simon. Simon got it into Thomas. A shot. Save made by Shields. 5:16 to go, second period. It's a shootout. 5-3 Hawks. No lack of scoring. Blackhawks now with a 2-goal lead for the second time in the game. With 3 here in this period, 5 in the first. Sullivan with a hat trick. Knuble has scored a penalty shot in this game. When a penalty shot kind of gets lost in the shuffle, you figure there's some offense going on. Knuble in 1:12 of this period scored in his first penalty shot chance ever. Cleared around the near side by Grosek. Knuble trying to knock it away. Thornton's line out there now for Boston. Daze trying to pin it up against the boards. Sullivan to Daze. Daze with point trailing, hanging on. Boston works it up and out of the zone. McGinnis on the near, Thornton on the near side. Just sticked over his stick away to center. Blackhawks trying to dump it in deep, but not. Pushed back up out of the zone point. Knocked away by Pops. Nikolic sends it back the other way.
Here again, if the Chicago line of Nikolic with Steve Sullivan on the one side, Eric Daze on the other side, can play their shift against Joe Thornton and play it in Boston's end. Pretty tough for Thornton and Murray to hurt you when they're backed into their own defensive zone.
This has been the matchup that Chicago's gone with throughout that first period. It was the top line against top line offensively. And Chicago won that battle, and they still are. Back into the zone was Lyle Odeline. Odeline got it up through center ice, where it'll be bumped in off the near side by Strudwick. Gerard behind the net. Gill reaching, even a long stick couldn't control that one. He got spun around the near side, took it away, and cleared to center. Lyle Odeline reaching in. Ralston knocked it down. Ralston bouncing puck, and he ripped it wide. Went for the wide side and got a lot of it. Steve Shields out to play it for Gerard. Gerard and Gill getting a lot of ice time because both have played well. P.J. Axelson has got a goal. Nifty little drop pass right there. Marty McGinnis turns, open, shot, score! That hit off a body. We'll see who gets credit for it. Axelson was in front of the net, and it deflected down and in, and it's a 1-goal game again.
It looked like it went off Axelson. He's shaking his head saying, no, I didn't feel it. Well, his back was turned. He might not have seen it, But see, look at all the time here that Marty McGinnis has to button hook, wind up, let it rip. Yeah, well,
May have hit Henry.
it either went off Henry or Axelson. Still can't tell. But it doesn't matter. Marty McGinnis with all kinds of time to wind up and let it rip. And yeah, it came through the crowd and out of the crowd, and Jocelyn Thibault had no chance at all. But give P.J. Axelson a ton of credit for making that screen work. He put his head down and decided to drive the net. Henry went with him. That's how the goal was scored.
Right back, Chicago off the glove of Shields and in behind the net. That was close to dropping in. Mark Bell drops it back out onto the point. 1-goal game. Arneson leaves it. Little opening shot blocked as it hit skates. Turnaround by Arneson is deflected wide. Shields came out to get a piece of it. Setting up in front of the net, Tyler Arneson now right at the top. There he is. Turnaround chance. Blocked. Shields will hang on. 5-4 Hawks. We'll check in again with John Buccigross.
Shootout Sunday continues in Atlanta as well, Gary. 1980s hockey going on today, and what Simon LeBon was to Duran, Philip Kuba is to the Wild. They have tied things up in Atlanta. You got a bunch of goals. We got 8 in Atlanta.
We're going to try and match all afternoon, John. P.J. Axelson, 2 on the day, 15 on the year. McGinnis the assist. 16-21, the time of the goal. Piling up points. Thornton's line out. Thornton dropped it. Knuble in. Knuble for Thornton. Top of the circle chance. Wide on the stick. Glenn Murray. Murray rifles it. That got blocked. It'll be played by Sullivan. A blind pass and an awful pass. He turned that right back into the middle. And another outlet pass intercepted. Shot by Sweeney. Deflected up and over the net. And that went off a Chicago Blackhawk. Chicago settles it down. Dempsey. Nathan Dempsey moved it into the middle. That'll be tipped. Shields will play it. Came off the collision stick. Sweeney comes back to get it. 2:26 left to go here in the period. And that'll be whistled on a 2-liner on the touch-up by Knuble. A reminder tonight on ESPN2, Brett Hull, Brendan Shanahan, and the Detroit Red Wings travel out west to take on Paul Correa, Adam Oates, and the surging Anaheim Mighty Ducks. That's tonight at 6 Eastern on ESPN2. Thinking of the Ducks, Table Solani played there for a while. His is another name now of a player up for grabs. San Jose apparently is willing to depart with Solani. So on Tuesday, by Tuesday, will he be playing somewhere else? Big name. Intended for Ralston. Lodeline holds him up. Ralston went to the corner for it. Thomas cleared it around. McGinnis took a swing at it. Couldn't get it. 5-4. Blackhawks leading. Boston has come back to tie it twice in a stick to the head. Power play coming for Boston. Delayed call. Gerard took that shot to the head. Axelson into the zone. Back into the middle. There's Simon, who's going to get the penalty. And a power play for Boston. Let's see what's coming up during our intermission. John and your wingers.
Jam-packed. Southwest Airlines intermission report when Darren Pang.
Sounded like I didn't get caught. Comment, didn't it?
I just don't know whether John shoots right or left. I know Ray's a lefty, Panger's a righty. By Chris Simon, for the second time in this game, has gotten his stick up in somebody's face, and he has gone again for 4 minutes. Here's the one from the first period, where he nicked Point up high and went for 4 minutes. Come on.
Second double minor, 18:09. This will be Boston's third power play of the game. Their only power plays have come on the Simon double minors. And a little help going on. Jocelyn Thibault in net.
He got his stick up on our camera, too. We have no view of him from our point of view camera in the penalty box.
However, very nice shot of the crowd.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Angular. It's today. It's edgy.
It's today. It's in.
Cutting edge.
1:51 left to go in the period. Jocelyn Thibault maybe giving his penalty killers a little chance to rest there while he adjusted the equipment. Faceoff's going to be in the high slot area. Boston on the power play, 7 for 18 in their last 5 games. And that will be cleared out through center. One break for the Chicago Blackhawks is that only 1:42 left to go in the period, so not the full 4 minutes of power play need be faced here. Boston scored their power play goal the last time on the second half of the double minor. Ralston and Berard working the blue line on the advantage. Ralston back to get it. Murray, Knuble, Thornton up front on the power play. Ralston brought it in back for Thornton. Thornton had it poke checked away. Good play by Mark Bell and cleared out of the zone by Eastwood. Blackhawks will change it up. Shields held it up behind the net. Now plays it off the near side for Murray. And Murray at the blue line. Thornton the power play. Will dish it around the net. Berard sits up at a point. Puck went back to the net and just died there. Cleared around by Dempsey. Minute left to go in the period. Brian Berard's pass deflected away. Sullivan forced the error. Sullivan came out in a hurry. Brought in by Glenn Murray. Murray's drop pass right back to him on a beautiful flip pass by Knuble. Tied up though along the boards. Nicolaitan trying to clear it around. Ralston had a piece of it. Still loose behind the net. Thornton poke checked it. Went straight up in the air. Back to get his stick is Dempsey, but it's cleared out of the zone anyway. 30 seconds left to go in the period. Shields hold it up. Double minor. Shields leads it for Girard. Girard who took that stick to the head out there in the power play now. Girard brings it up with 20 seconds left to go in the period. Axelson, they crisscross in the middle. Shot on. That got blocked. Stumple with a chance. Cleared out by Pop.
Boy, I don't know if Mark Bell had anything to do with Stumple not getting a shot on net. It looked like he just fanned on it. Point blank range from the hash marks.
Got through the D and then nothing there. Blue line chance. Axelson save. Jocelyn Thibault rebound to the corner by Clem. 2:08 remaining on the Bruins power play to start the third period. A 4-goal period with Knuble and Axelson for Boston, Daze and Sullivan for the Blackhawks, and after 2 it's the Hawks 5, the Bruins 4. The shootout will continue. The hat trick went to Sullivan. The lead to the Hawks. Green hat, your name might well be Sullivan, and it was, by God. Steve's got a hat trick, and we're back. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, and our crew, and the Blackhawks 5-4, but Boston's got 2:08 left on their power play.
In case you're interested, folks, this is the last home game before St. Patrick's Day for the Blackhawks, and that's why they decided to give the hats out today. Look at this, though. That's Eric Daze. He and his line mates Nicolaitan and Steve Sullivan. 4 + 3, and each is a +4. That means there are minuses on the other side. Joe Thornton is a -4 for the Bruins, and so is Glenn Murray. There's Steve Sullivan with a hat trick.
Penalty still has 2:08 left to go on it. Simon with a double minor. Second time Boston has had the 4-minute advantage. They've scored 1 power play goal. This is their 4th power play of the game. We're in the second half of the double minor, and we're underway here in the third period, and the Blackhawks lead is 1. Ralston leaves it. Whistle. Offside, and that nullified an opportunity. There's Brian Ralston getting back in action after Thursday's game against the Islanders when he took an elbow to the head that left him a bit battered and bruised.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning about it. He said he was dazed, and it clipped him right on the chin. And it was a hard elbow, too. So Brian Ralston sat out yesterday's game in Washington and is back in the lineup. He does so many things so well for Robbie Ftorek that he's a valuable guy. You don't want to have him out of the lineup. And he's got great speed, too. He just backs people off with it.
Ralston has a couple of assists in this game. They've given one to him on that last goal by Axelson. It was added. Power play. Boston Bruins continuing. O'Donnell at a point. Sullivan knocked it away and cleared out. Sullivan has just done everything today.
Oh, yeah.
He's had assists. He's had the hat trick, and he's played fine defense, including on the penalty kill. And that was Sullivan up on the check as he heads to the bench for a change.
And Gary, even strength against the Thornton line, their best defense has been their offensive containment. They've had Thornton in the other zone.
Knuble got it back for Thornton on the power play, and that's taken away by Eastwood. Eastwood, who's always been a very fine penalty clearer, cleared that one out. Back to get it, Steve Shields. Power play down to 1 minute left to go for the Bruins. Murray was already up ice. Pass deflected to Thornton. Thornton will send it around the boards. On the far side, it's Lapointe. Tried to drop it back. Girard helped to hold it in over there, but he's being tied up by Barrison. Came to Murray. Murray can't get to it. Nicolaitan knocked it away. And Nicolaitan, great job to get it out of the zone. Chicago will change it up again. 38 left to go in the power play opportunity. Moved in, near side Thornton. Thornton again. We'll just ship that around the boards. Eastwood again was there to back it up to Pops. Hard wraparound, and that will clear. Boston will get one more run at it. Shields leaves it for Girard. Into the middle of Murray. Murray trying to split the D to Stumple, and it poke checked away to center by Clem. And power play is down to 10 seconds left to go on it for Boston. John Clem, another performer for Chicago, has played well. Shot in by McGinnis from center, knocked away. And the power play is over. 2 shots in a 4-minute power play. And it remains a 5-4 Hawks lead as the penalty killers got it done for Chicago. Now we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. This will be chased down for, well, the wave off the icing. Had to be played in behind the net by Point. Away to Stumple. Got around Fleury. He'll head to the front of the net. Shot there, got blocked into the corner. Loose on the far side, Boston. They have jammed the net hard in this game. Olowa is out there. He's had 2 fights already. Number 33 for Boston, Ian Theo Fleury. Olowa came away with the puck, back out onto the point for a chance. Thibault made the save, rebound, swept to the near side. Boynton a shot, missed it. Man.
Jocelyn Thibault couldn't control a rebound, and it came right back out dead center. The last place he wanted to leave it. And you see what happens from a sharp angle when you shoot wide to the long side. You regroup behind your net.
Gill back in behind the net, drops it off. 18,517. The announced attendance here at the United Center in Chicago for this game, and they have seen some goals. Grosek creates an offside on himself. We looked at the Western Conference earlier. Let's take a look at the East and those playoff spots so treasured in the top 8.
You can see that Boston still is not even close to assuring themselves of a playoff spot, but this is why they want to win games now. It's not so that they can just make the playoffs. It's so they can have a cushion, let's say, in the last 10 days of the season. They don't have to overplay people. They don't run the risk of getting key people hurt. They might even be able to sit out some key people if there's nothing at stake. But I'll tell you what, when you're in the fight right up until the end, you're burning energy, and you're burning maybe even more than energy by the time it's all said and done. So you, at least in the last week to 10 days of the schedule, want to get rid of that uncertainty about whether or not you're going to make it.
Washington Capitals, who are battling for their division title against the Tampa Bay Lightning, have an interesting schedule. They have completed all the road games that they're going to have in the United States. They've got 6 games on the road left. They're going to play all the Canadian teams. That's it for their rest of their road game situation. That one through the middle. Ralston couldn't deflect. Daze cleared that one back up. Nicolishin got it out to Daze. Eric Daze, who's got a goal in this game, trying to get to the forehand. Did, and he scores! Eric Daze! He's got 2 goals in the game.
Simply overpowering. Daze missed 5 games with a serious ankle injury. He only skated the last 2 days. Could have fooled me, and I bet you could have fooled Brian Berard. That is who he beat wide on a power move. Watch him lean to make sure he could get back into a shooting position. And with his long reach, man, how many times have we seen guys affected with the reach? Southwest Airlines type of reach. Steve Shields had it pop over his blocker, and Eric Daze has goal number 2, and Steve Sullivan, Andre Nicolishin, and Eric Daze are just eating everybody up out there. The only saving grace for the Joe Thornton line on that goal was they weren't out there. It was Brian Ralston's line.
We've got 4 players now with a chance at a hat trick. Sullivan has already scored the trick with 3 goals. Daze's got 2. Knuble and Axelson all have scored 2 goals in this game. A 4-point game for Daze, a 4-point game for Sullivan. 6-4. The Hawks have the lead, and we're not even 5 minutes into the 3rd period. That one flipped back out the center. Girard came back to get it for Boston. The Bruins down by 2 yet one more time in this game. At center, it'll be the dump in wide by Knuble. Got it on net, knocked away. Sent it from the red line into the zone. Berezin ships it in on Shields. Tried to feed it off. Strudwick was there. Hal Gill took that one away. Bruins back on the rush. Stumple on the right side. Lapointe. Stumple falls down. Lapointe came over to help out. Couldn't control it. Berezin ahead up ice. Berezin trying to turn around to take that feed. Couldn't quite get to it. Boynton and Berezin do battle along the boards. Chicago changes it up behind the play. Chicago trying to get out of the 0 for 9 that they are in. McGinnis is offside, trying to hold that line at center. We'll check in again with John Butchergrass. John.
All right, Gary, you guys got 10 goals, so the Thrashers and Wild have some work to do. Stuck on 8. 4-4, early 3rd. Pasquale Dupuis. There's a shot on the rebound. All right, that's 9 goals. 5-4, Minnesota. And then Jeremy Stevenson. We got 10 goals in Atlanta. 6-4 Wild.
And you are making it tough.
We're still going to win.
14:24 left to go here. Shot on by Odeline. Save made Shields. That was right at him. And the Bruins. Olowa moves that one out of the zone. Taken away and cleared back by McCarthy. Daze is 17th of the season. Nicolishin. 4:07 of the 3rd. The time of the goal. And Thomas behind the net trying to center. Simon came back to help. Theo Fleury out there. This line has been together throughout the game. These long passes continue, and a 3-on-2 opportunity all of a sudden. Move back checking was Thomas to break that up on Oliva. They had the odd man rush going again. Odd man rush is almost equal to total goals scored in this game today. That goes to the far side corners. Sweeney went over. PJ Sock went over rather to try and hold it up. Sent back into the middle. One-on-one the other way. Shot on Shields was high by Mark Bell. Bell was open for a moment. Held in. Henry dumped it all the way around the boards. Clem had to go over across the blue line to get it. Ralston was hanging at the red line. Touches that one up on a two-line pass. More goals to come. Why not? 6-4 Hawks. If you're a goaltender.
And they come like this. They're like bananas. They're coming in bunches. 2 goals Knuble, 2 goals Axelson, Sullivan 3, Daze 2. And the hits just keep on coming.
Andy Brickley, Boston Bruins announcer between periods, said to me, this is the kind of game where the next thing you expect to hear is move the nets, there's a car coming. It does look like shitty hockey. Up against the boards, hit put on Arneson, able to dig it out. Arneson, Stumple, puck wrapped around to the near side. Boston again down by 2 here in the third period. Good stand-up check made by Blake Henry, the rookie. Boston's got to clear the zone. They do not.
Well, folks, more hockey action for you, and it's coming later today. ESPN 2. Brett Hull, Brendan Shanahan, all of the Detroit Red Wings. They will take on the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim in Anaheim. Paul Correa and Adam Oates. They are surging. 6 Eastern on ESPN 2.
There was a situation where what many are talking about, put that tag-up rule back in, where there would not have been a whistle and a stoppage of play. Puck sent in offside, let the team clear the zone, and if they do, don't blow the whistle. That one would have happened easily because that zone was almost cleared by Boston anyway. Instead, to get a whistle on another face-off.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it come back in. You'd keep the game going even more than it is, and not only that, with the obstruction being called, you'd be able to get a forecheck on the re-jump in.
Yep. Little chance for the odd man rush the other way. Stand-up check roll to the corner as Brian Berard, the defenseman, tried to lead the charge. Gerard sends that one back in behind the net. Good play by the rookie Bert Henry on that charge up ice. And Henry comes away with the puck and will lead it out for Chicago. Barrison on the near side. Barrison tried to feather that one in front. Barrison, 4-time 20-goal scorer. He's got 18 on the season and leads the Chicago Blackhawks. 170 shots. That one dumped in from the red line by Gerard for a line change, and it'll be held on by Thibault.
Not only are the Chicago Blackhawks ahead by 2 on the scoreboard, but they've got to be ahead in the energy department. The Boston Bruins played yesterday in Washington and had to travel here to Chicago to play. Robbie Ftorek did a good job early in the game of trying to get his 4th line. There's Oliva right there, trying to get his 4th line into the game to save some energy and some legs. But up against it now with 12 minutes to go.
Cleared back up in a collision intended for Daze. Knocked down by Sullivan. Sullivan for Daze. It was open momentarily. Martin came back, put the stick in on him. Daze deflected that pass. Dumped it. Sullivan looking for his 4th goal from behind the net. Shot saved. Daze reached, couldn't get it. And the Bruins, Knuble able to clear it out. Mike Knuble drops it off. He'll head to the front of the net. Sweeney's chance. Blocked into the air by Pops. Knuble came over. Hit put on by John Clem. Puck centered in front. Score! We are not done yet. Murray gets the goal, and it is again a 1-goal game.
Mr. Sniper, Glenn Murray's career best was last season when he scored 41 goals. This goal for Glenn Murray is goal number 38. And the way he is going, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to pass his career best that he set last year. Just dropped right down to him and bang, just let it go over Thibault's shoulder. But Joe Thornton found him. Genius by Murray. Kicked it up to the shooting position with his right skate. Never even touched it before he shot it with the stick blade and just ripped it over Thibault.
So again, the Boston Bruins battle back and get to within 1. They have come back to tie this game twice already. Axelson moves it in. He's got a goal. Sent back in behind the net. McCarthy was there. Fleury cleared it high up. Hit Thomas in the face. Thomas on the far side took that puck right in the face. He heads to the bench as he got cut. That puck came right off the glass and caught him in the chops. Boynton clears it around the near side. 10:46 left to go. Ralston trying to clear it out of there. Arneson reaching in. The goal at 8:38. Murray's 38th. Thornton picked up the assist. Even strength goal knocked away by Jocelyn Thibault. 200th career assist for Thornton on that goal that he set up from behind the net to make it a one-goal game. Ralston hanging on to Arneson's stick. Cleared back in. Boston putting the pressure on again. They got Ralston in the high slot. Pass deflected. Oderline drops it. Arneson cleared it out. Now a maybe 2-on-1 the other way. Arneson poke checked away from him. Down low on the other side. Shot, save, Shields, rebound. Saved by Shields. Two of them right there. Calder with a rebound chance. Steve Shields with big saves. Stumple comes the other way. Backhands it into the middle. Jocelyn Thibault. Puck goes wide. Thibault goes wide. And a Bruin is down in the net. And at the other end, it'll be whistled on the offside. What action. Berard, the man who went into the net for Boston.
The Blackhawks have performed like a team that is not willing to acknowledge that they've got a very slim chance of squeaking into the playoffs. And Jocelyn Thibault now, 7 minutes and 29 seconds away from ending an 0-10 stretch. His last 10 decisions have all been losses.
Save percentage .887 during that streak. Very tough. The toughest of his career. Around the net, it is Steve Potts who got it out of there. Sullivan centered. Daze scores! Dig out the hats again.
What a play here by Steve Sullivan. We've seen him score in this game, but look at the setup. And the big man, Eric Daze, had Sean O'Donnell turned and facing him. But O'Donnell did not have any part of Daze tied up. He was just looking at him. And as a result, Sullivan was able to drop it in on the backhand. I mean, here's the deal as a defenseman. If you're going to turn and face the play, you got to play the puck. If you're going to turn your back to the play, you got to take the man. When Daze was wide open, he was able to backhand it by Steve Shields. And the 2-goal lead is back in effect. And I don't blame you, little guy. Don't give it up, man. Don't give it up.
Daze and Sullivan now each have hat tricks.
Might have even deflected off a shin pad of a Bruin coming through, but Steve Shields was clearly trusting the coverage away from him, and it didn't pan out the way he wanted. You know, Eric Daze was in the hospital a week ago today, recovering from a badly infected ankle that he had. There was well, at least the size of a grapefruit. He came back and has only skated for 2 days after missing 5 games. And it's been that kind of season for Daze. He has missed 15 games, then 5, then 3, then 5, all with different injuries. Out of the hospital, back onto the ice 2 days ago, and has himself a hat trick. Yeah, that did nick off the shin pad of Nick Boynton, which helped the path of the puck come right down on the tape of Daze.
It's a 2-goal game again.
Stick in the ice. Just keep it on the ice when you've got a slick player. I mean, I've seen people score, and it's happened to me, where you've got your stick in the ice and the puck bounces in off of you, off of your stick, simply because you're playing with a pretty good player.
A lot to smile about. The last time Chicago had 2 players get a hat trick in the same game was L. Secord and Troy Murray against Pittsburgh in January of 1986. The last time the 2 Chicago Blackhawks had a trick in the same game. Well, they've got it here. Sullivan and Daze. We're still waiting on Knuble and Axelson, who have the same chance to have tricks. That one shot deflected wide. Boynton again. Daze gets his 18th of the year. Sullivan got the assist. 12:42, and the Blackhawks again lead it by 2. Boston do it with only 6:40 left to go. Make another comeback here. Thomas tried to clear that one out. Ralston dumped it back into the corner. Up against the boards. Ralston behind the net to Axelson. Axelson wanted to turn it to the front. Takes the stick of Clem. Comes the other way. Gets there. Goes back out on the point instead. Boynton risks that one. Deflected. Wide of the net. Hard around by Clem. At the line. Not out of the zone again. O'Connell's chance. Save made off the blocker. John O'Donnell with the opportunity. Boston. Axelson right in the crease. Jocelyn Thibault can't find it. It's loose at the side of the net. And Gerard comes into play, and everybody's down low. Shot blocked. There's no defenseman back.
Everybody was inside the hash marks.
Gerard got a little help as he came back from down around the goal line. Not out of the zone. Yes. McCarthy brought it back in offside. Hawks 7, Bruins 5. Sunday shootout on ESPN.
Well, I don't know where he ranks right now, but Steve Sullivan coming into today's game ranked tied for 84th in the NHL in scoring. So
he's third now.
He leads Marcus Naslund now by a goal and an assist. But here's why this was supposed to be a mismatch and why you should play the game anyway. Joe Thornton, number 4 in scoring. Glenn Murray, number 8 overall in the NHL. Top scorer for Chicago.
Gets his 7th of the year, and it's 8-5 Hawks.
That hell with it. This is a better story anyway. Lyle Odeline jumps onto the score sheet. Theo Fleury with an assist on this play. Where is a Bruin? Where is a Bruin? Was that a screenshot? Did it deflect? Yes, it looked like it deflected off of a Bruin halfway to the net. I couldn't imagine Steve Shields blowing that one from the blue line.
Last 8-goal game for Chicago, 99 against LA in December of 99. They have 8 in this one and have an 8-5 lead with 3:49 left to go. So the Boston Bruins 3-game win streak is going to be shut down here in Chicago. And Chicago's 9-game losing streak is going to end. And their 10-game losing streak at home is going to end. Not sure what the final score is going to be, though. Ralston took a whack at that Axelson shot. Blocked in behind the net. McCarthy put a hit on Axelson. Thomas will turn this up ice. Man, it has been a tough day for goaltenders because the chances have been just that in this game. But as Bill said, because there wasn't either team, this is the biggest breakout there's been in the game.
This is the biggest lead right now, isn't it?
Yeah, so the goaltenders stay in. First 3-goal lead we've had in the game. And they've paid a price.
Look at the sweat dripping off the chin of Steve Shields. Got a little water break there, too, so some of that might be water, but... Boy.
Save made on Gill's chance from the blue line. Turn around, Grosek blocked into the corner. Bruins still control. Grosek cutting to the net. Trying to find a way out in front. Blocked to the corner. Nice play by Clem, who got the stick in on that. Bruins able to hold it in the zone, though. That one off a stick and wide. Bruins have cycled to P.J. Stock at the last chance and a penalty coming. It'll be a holding call.
And that'll take care of any chance we had of Strudwick and Olivog going for the hat trick and having a third fight because they were both out there. And they will both leave the ice now that this is a power play situation. Michael Grosek going to take John Clem. Clem went for the body. Grosek went for a bit of a torque, but I don't know what he grabbed John Clem with there.
Kind of caught the pad in his arm and swung him around.
Johnny boy, were you diving there? If you were, you made it look really good.
Under the new dive rule, it does not have to be a penalty for a player to be charged with a dive by the league, which can review it. And
I shouldn't have said anything. I might get him in trouble there.
No. It's a $1,000 fine issued to the player if there is a dive, and he goes on a list that is circulated. I'm not saying he did dive on that.
No, I'm not either.
But worth noting that, in fact, that can happen. And they're going to check the time on the clock here upstairs and get that taken care of. Odeline's goal, 15:56. Theo Fleury picked up the assist, so Fleury has had, it's hard to add these up. See how much writing there is on the sheet? That's a lot of scoring right there.
I hate to say this, and I've never said this before, but I will say it now. You're on your own.
Thank you so much. I know Fleury's 1-1 in the game, and I think that's what he is. Going quickly over the list. Theo Fleury's had a goal and an assist upon being waived yesterday by Chicago. Back in behind the net, McCarthy back to get it. Sullivan 3-2, Daze 3-2, Fleury 1-1, Nikolajin 2 assists. Knubles had 2-1, Axelson 2 goals, and Ralston 2 assists. Multi-point games for these two teams.
How many guys in with multi-points?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7, actually. Whoa. Cleared back into the middle, not counting the goaltenders. We don't want to be counted right now. Sullivan let that go to the near side. Power play. Look. Sullivan comes back up along the line. 2 minutes left to go. Chicago Blackhawks trying to hold it in and add another. McCarthy dropped it along the blue. McCarthy back in the middle. Sullivan at the blue line. Chicago keeps his puck very deep. McGinnis put the hit on. McCarthy, though, will hold it in. McCarthy drops it off on the far side. Waiting. This is a power play for Chicago. Back into the middle. Do not have the power play time up on the clock because I guess it's the amount of time left in the game.
Here people yelling shoot, shoot, shoot. 8 isn't enough here.
That one ripped wide after a season like this. They want all they can get in one game.
Yeah, they've been goal starved. Remember, this is the 26th ranked offense coming into today's game, the Chicago Blackhawks.
8 goals. Dempsey leaves it down low. In front of the net. Oh, couldn't get it there as it got knocked away. Mark Bell was trying to get there. Penalty will be over with 54 seconds left in the game. Dempsey shot, Shields. Hard shot. He made the save. And it's cleared out. Closing in on a minute left to go here in regulation. Chicago Blackhawks with an 8-5 lead. And an inspired performance by this club that has struggled so mightily. Nikolajin trying to move it in. Cleared it back out. Short-handed Grosek. Grosek stood up on a good solid check by Burke Henry. 40 seconds remaining. Boston, that comes out to center. With a 3-goal differential. Bruins not pulling any netminder here. That brought back into the zone. That's offside. Daze's got it. Will be delayed offside call. They won't have to whistle it. Let him move it out to center. 24 seconds remaining. Cleared in deep. Chicago fans up and roaring. Boynton comes back to play it. Christoph Oliva moving it in. Oliva to shoulder. Jocelyn Thibault. Christoph Oliva hanging onto his head.
He landed on his face.
And a whistle with 2 seconds, 2.9 left.
Oliva wound up in his own end and was skating in a giant S pattern. Picked up the puck in full stride and landed, I think, right on his face here. Watch this. Made a pretty nice move with the puck, but then the body didn't follow. Went up and landed on his, he landed face first. And he couldn't even finish on his shot, and that is well, I'll tell you what, it's been a long time since I've seen somebody land like that. Might have been Kevin Stevens of the Pittsburgh Penguins in 1993. Ray Ferraro would remember that. He was in the game against Stevens.
Christoph Oliva.
Is he a tough guy?
Headed off, got off. Game is over. The Blackhawks come away with an 8-5 win. So Boston's win streak ended. Chicago ends the losing streak. Sullivan with a hat trick. Daze with a hat trick. Don't forget to tune in to ESPN 2 tonight at 6 Eastern. Detroit takes on Anaheim. Then on ABC Met and all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Hawks 8, the Bruins 5. See ya.